You're listening to The Parallel Paths, a podcast designed to elevate your mind, body, and spirit so that you can get everything you want out of life. The only question is, are you ready?
Do you have a business or looking to start one? Establishing your online presence is key. Bluehost makes it quick and easy to get your website up and going, making it an ideal solution for beginners with its fast loading speeds and variety of features. Powering over 2 million websites, Bluehost offers a full range of hosting services, SEO, and much more, all at budget-friendly prices. Sign up today for web hosting as low as $3.95 per month. Click our link in the show notes for instant access to this incredible deal.
Okay. Welcome back to the Parallel Paths podcast. I'm your co-host, Makita Moore.
I'm your other co-host, Blair McClendon.
Yes, and welcome back. Just as a reminder, this season is all about how we can heal the Black community. Our first episode, we talked all about self-love. And this episode is going to be more related to the crimes that we commit against one another, both physical, emotional, spiritual, all those things, the things that we're doing within our community that are kind of holding us back. And this was definitely a topic, an area of growth that Blair and I had identified previously, but the timing of the discussion of this topic was more so personal for both Blair and I. I recently lost a friend to gun violence just a few days ago. And just the effect of that on me and everyone else, it caused a lot of pain. And knowing that it was a senseless thing, and this was a person who is truly a phenomenal human being who came here to make a difference, to see that life taken so easily and so senselessly, it just really brought it more to my awareness of this being an issue now that I've personally gone through it. But when we talk about, there's the more pop culture terms like Black on Black crime and Black on Black violence, it ultimately just describes this sense of lack of self-love within ourselves that then spreads to how we interact with one another as Black people. And I know Blair was telling me a little bit about the origins of that. Do you want to kind of share some of the origins of this, hate and within the Black community?
Yeah, it's been perpetuated since slavery. But for those who are familiar with the Willie Lynch letter, if you're not, definitely look that up. But the Willie Lynch letter talks about it in detail with how division was pushed into our culture, from separating the light skins from the dark skins, the males from the females. And once you do that separation, if one is perceived to get something that the other isn't, there becomes a form of hate or jealousy or whatever that might develop. So it's deep rooted within our DNA from generations of programming. So this is stuff that our ancestors went through that we're still experiencing today. So that's one thing that we wanted to bring to the light. Like, in order for us to fully evolve, we have to stop the violence within our own community, or the self-hate that we reflect in our community by the harm that we do to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, when you were speaking on like the light skin versus dark skin, like I just remember, like, in school, grade school, like that was always a thing. And like the lighter girls were always preferred to be the prettier girls, and how that created division and competition rather than us supporting one another. And we don't realize how deep that deception goes, how it was intentionally done to separate a powerful people, because if you keep us separated, then there's no way we can really assume that power which we hold. And the only reason why we're being separated is because that power is recognized by others, and we can't even take the time to recognize it ourselves and put our egos aside to realize the things that we're fighting over don't even make sense. The fact that, I was thinking about the metaphor of like the crabs in the bucket. The fact that a lot of people feel like they have to leave the ghetto, or, the quote unquote ghetto, or, where they grew up, because they can't succeed there and feel safe because somebody's going to come for them, you know? And it's just like,
It's sad. It's sad to see. I mean, we see it time and time again. We saw it with Nipsey. That's the biggest example that I can give for those trying to get a vivid picture of what we're talking about. You have somebody of that magnitude who's doing so much good in the community, and being such a light that it causes other people, for whatever reason, to envy that or to be jealous instead of supporting it and continuing to build your community, which is what we always talk about in our small business group. It's so many tools and resources out here that have been hidden from us and kept from us, that once you're aware of it, it's plenty for everybody to eat. But it's the greed on the other side that's been keeping it away. And instead of us going against each other, that's not the true enemy. Like, you got to look way deeper than that. It's not anybody who's looking like you.
Yep. And sorry, it's been a very heavy week. Just trying to process the fact that it is those people who it's really, it comes down to that lack mentality, the lack of self-love, and then that lack mentality that was taught to us. And it's like, well, how do we overcome that in order for us to move forward? Because ultimately there are, unfortunately, some people within our community who aren't going to get it. And as long as they don't get it, they'll continue to be a threat to those who do get it and those who are trying to progress. And it's like, how can we stop? How can we, you know, help people to come to the awareness that we're not the enemy. The people who look like you aren't the enemy. And even if you don't like somebody, you don't go kill them. Like, it's so senseless. And we become so desensitized to taking lives and murder. It just makes it's just normal. Like, you know, when I was kind of processing the murder of my friend, it was so new to me. It was fresh to me. Like, murder isn't normal to me. So it hit me very hard because, you know, it was so unexpected. But I think about a lot of these kids who I work with here in LA, in the inner city of LA, they're used to murder. And that's not the norm. You know, that shouldn't be a thing that just happens. So
Yeah, I mean, that's a key you just hit on, but it's the things that we have normalized as a community, as far as the violence and so on and so forth. And like you said, it shouldn't be normal for somebody in high school to have already lost a couple friends. And it's more than just LA. This happens in Florida, and this happens in Atlanta, of course, Detroit, New Orleans, you name it, New York. The list keeps going. Everywhere is affected by it. Nobody goes untouched by this stuff. So it's an issue.
Mm-hmm. And we, you know, I think, like, right now, you know, we kind of let off by talking about more so, like, you know, violent acts, like violent physical acts, like, you know, gun violence and things like that, and gangs. Like, you know, the origin, Blair was, you know, educating me earlier on the origin of gangs were to protect our communities, because we recognized who the enemy was. So we had these gangs who were there to protect our communities. And then somebody recognized that, saw the threat of it, and then turned people against one another. So now we have this whole issue of people fighting over territories, and ultimately doesn't make sense, because we've seen a lot of these gangs come together since, you know, people like Nipsey died. Like, and that just proves to you there's no reason. It's senseless. There's really no reason for why you're killing one another, why you hate one another. There's no reason for it, you know.
It's wild, man. And it's achieving the agenda of the same people who put this stuff into place. It's like, cool, they're doing exactly what we wanted to. Things are going as planned. So with you killing each other, they don't have to exterminate you. They don't have to do these wild attacks and stuff in public. You're doing it yourself.
we are not a threat if we keep killing ourselves. And again, it just goes so deep. Like, y'all, there's so many strings attached to the Black community that just have us being puppets, and we have to wake up.
Hey, Parallel Podcast listeners, don't forget to check out our own personal brands. If you're looking to learn more about mindfulness, mindset, and meditation, catch me live on Instagram every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or schedule a free one-on-one consult with me. All that information is in the link in my bio at Makita Smiles. Also, if you're looking for anything health and wellness related, check out Blair's Instagram at 3 Layers of Wellness for links to his website and resources. And for all my Floridians, don't forget to check out bonafidefla.com. That's bonafidefla.com for all things Florida. You can find all of this information in the show notes as well. Now back to the show.
Gotta wake up. Gotta wake up. And another prime example, to me, this is self-hate. Anybody who eats McDonald's, you're practicing self-hate. You really don't care about your body. So I know we always put, we as a society, not me personally, but as a society, we tend to put celebrities on a pedestal. So a person like Travis Scott, who comes out here and is now endorsing McDonald's, of course, the hype he has behind his shoes, his name, his brands, all that stuff is going to drive people to eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's not what we need as a community right now.
Yeah.
It should be everything opposite of that.
It's like, at what price are you going to sell out your community?
Selling out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like that's such a bigger form of violence because, you know, he knows his impact, and the fact that you're using your impact and your platform to put poison into your community is nothing but poison, you know? And it's just like, we have to realize the value of us is us together as a collective, not how much pieces of paper, promissory notes that you can receive, you know? Like, that's not what life is about. Like, life is about expansion, understanding yourself, you know, stepping into your abundance. And if you're gonna sell out to the devil for that, I mean, you might seem like you're winning for now, but that shit's not gonna sit with you, you know.
Karma always comes back.
It does. It does. And again, so Blair, let's are there any other kind of things that kind of come to mind when you think about the hurt that we inflict on one another within the community? Before
Well, I mean, just even how we talk to each other. We we call each other, or we call females the B word. We call them hoes. We call them tricks and all this stuff. And then they turn around and call us dogs and whatever else. Like, I mean, you know what people call each other. So I think it starts in how we communicate with each other. I think we need to be referring to each other as kings and queens that we are. It's another title that I want to address us as, but I don't think they're ready for that. So yeah, we'll get there. But I think we really got to do better with just our even verbal attacks, man. Like, I mean, you kind of mentioned earlier about like the light skin versus dark skin girl thing. And like, I don't really take too many things to heart, especially as growing up as a kid. Like, I was really on a different level when it came to mindset. Like, I would definitely get my share of, especially since I would be in, like, let's say an honors class or something. I get kids call me white boy or whatever. Like, or you hang with white kids, so you a white dude. Like, yeah. Bro, as far from that as possible. So yeah, so like just stuff like that, that it's like, bro, I'm blacker than you. If you really knew.
And I'm not gonna define my blackness off of,
I'm not gonna define no blackness. And I'm not even gonna call myself a color, because that's ignorant in itself. So it's just, I think we gotta do better with uplifting each other instead of putting each other down. So if, like, let's say if a friend comes to the table with an idea, don't laugh them out the room, encourage them. Right. Or if it's something that can be improved, offer constructive criticism. don't just shoot something down. Like, we definitely got to do better with building up each other.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it comes down to like our first episode, all about self-love. Like when you have that love for self, and you realize where that hate for self came from, and you can recognize your greatness and begin to heal yourself, you can then have nothing but love for other people. And even when people make mistakes and they're, people aren't perfect, you have that compassion. You have that heart that, you live life with an open heart versus feeling like you have to protect yourself, because I don't have to protect myself from my brother or my sister. You know, I have whatever I need, and my path is my path. Their path is their path. There's no competition. We're in here to elevate together because there's enough for all of us. It's just that we have to unlearn what we've been taught. That only so many of us can make it to the table.
Hey, she dropping gems if she ain't never dropped none. There is no competition. The only competition is with yourself. Mm-hmm. So again, working together as a collective. Yeah, just, we got work to do.
Yeah, for sure. So what are, aside from, kind of cultivating more self-love, what are some things that we could give our listeners as far as how they can understand the significance of this hurting one another within the community, as well as what they can do on their own to begin to not continue to perpetuate this problem?
I mean, just be aware of how you're treating yourself and how you're treating others. So, I mean, it starts within. Like, I always say that, and I know it sounds cliche, but like, how you treat yourself is how you're going to be treating others as well. So if you truly care about yourself, you're not going to be trying to hurt somebody else, whether it be physically, verbally, whatever. So I think you got to start at self first. And then just be aware. Just be aware of the actions that you take after that. People know right from wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think another part of it is being courageous, because sometimes making changes, especially when it comes to like gangs and all that stuff, it takes some courage to be like, this shit's stupid. This shit don't make no sense. Why would I do this? I'm not going to do this. So especially when it's a threat to your life, if you do change your opinions and things like that. So it takes some courage too. So be courageous and know that ultimately, what you put out into the world is what you're going to receive. So you think you're getting by, by hurting people, and you're not seeing as hurting. They just, I caught them slipping. Nah, the energy, the universe, it keeps, a tally of what you do. And if you want to be blessed abundantly, which is what we all are entitled to, you have to do good in this world, and that requires that courage. It requires that self-awareness, and just doing what you know to be right. Everything that we need, all the answers we need are all within. There's nothing that you don't know. If you just take time to be quiet, to listen. Yeah.
I agree. It's wild times right now, man. Get right. That's all I can say is get right.
Yep. We need each other more than ever. We are headed into the most uncertain of certain times. So just, this is the time for us to come together. This is the time for us to heal. This is the time for us to grow. 2020 is forcing us to grow. So go ahead and don't resist it. Challenge those fears, do the things, connect with the people who you should be connecting with. And just remember that, just do everything from a place of love. And if you have that love, it's going to guide you in the right direction. Even when it's hard, even when you get in resistance and it seems like you're doing the wrong thing, allow that love to continue to carry you through, because you are love. You were created from love. And ultimately, love always wins. So,
big facts.
So with that, we are sending you all peace and love. Share your comments. Share this podcast with your friends, your family. We are creating a community here. We are for the community, and that's all we're here for, is to continue to elevate ourselves. And as we elevate, we want to elevate everyone else around us. I'm sending love to the family of Joey Donnell Diggins. And, you know, he was a father, a son, a mentor, a creator, a friend, a lover. He was everything that this world needed. And we will continue to carry out his legacy through the blueprint that he laid out for us. So sending peace and love to him, his family, and everyone else who has been affected by senseless crimes,
Ashe.
or even, you know, lives lost to the virus, and how that has disproportionately affected the Black community. We sending everybody peace and love.
Ashe. For sure, man. Definitely sending y'all love, light, peace. Keep your heads up, man. A lot going on. Eliminate those distractions. Continue to turn within. And have a good week.
All right, y'all. Peace and love.
Peace.